Michael Cole, of course, former BBC Royal correspondent. I want to bring you back in here to discuss part of what is happening right now in Belfast, part of the audience, the behind the scenes that takes place here. When you are a working reporter trying to work out what happens behind closed doors, again, if everyone has the punishment of going to the Tower for telling you, tell us about just how steep a climb it is to find out the little eccentricities of what we don't see on the camera.
Paul, I do what you do. I use the old Mark I eyeball, and I listen very carefully, and I talk to people. I trust, people in the past like Patrick Jeffson, who's just been with you. It wasn't that difficult a job. It was quite demanding, and the clever thing about being a royal reporter is telling the people what they're not seeing on the screen. I mean, there's no point in me saying to you the Queen has just arrived in Kathmandu wearing a green coat, because you can see, if you've got a colour television, that she's wearing a green coat. But if I said to you the Queen arrived wearing a coat made of the throat hairs of a rare Himalayan deer, which convey upon the wearer the properties of being a god on earth, I think you're quite interested in that. So you have to add the detail. And people always used to say to me, do you know the Queen? And I said, no, I don't know the Queen, but the Queen knows me, because that was part of her job, to know who was there for the BBC. And of course, she was an immensely amusing person from time to time. She was not in the least bit grand. Quite the opposite. She was quite a modest person. The job was grand, but she was down to earth, and wearing the crown, if I can put it like this, didn't go to her head. She, with her personal friends, she didn't think she was wonderful. Of course, she was wonderful, and she had a unique life, and it's a life that none of us could really ever imagine. Imagine you were born and you never go to school. You have tutors. When you join the Brownies come to you. At the age of 10, because your Uncle David, Edward VIII, abdicates, you become the heir apparent. And at the age of 21 in South Africa, you make a vow to serve your country and your people for the whole of your life, as long as you may live, whether it be a long life or a short life. And my goodness, that's what she did for 70 years. And there's a wonderful thing, the continuity that goes on. It's important and it's vital, part of it, because there was a suggestion that the coffin bearing her mortal remains should be taken by the royal train from Edinburgh to London, which obviously would have its advantages. But it's going to be flown. Her daughter, Princess Royal, Princess Anne, will be with her in the airplane. But that aircraft is going to arrive at RAF Northolt, famous Battle of Britain airfield to the west of London. And that is precisely the spot where, in 1952, when she returned from Kenya, her father having died in the night at Sandringham, and she was the new queen, she arrived there. The flight stopped in Rome. Mourning clothes were flown out so that she could dress in black. And as she stepped down from the aircraft, Winston Churchill bowed deeply, and the whole of the cabinet was there to meet the new monarch, aged 25. Well, when the coffin goes back, it's going to go to exactly that point, completing the circle.
Thank you so much for your insights. I do appreciate it, Michael. There's a lot of great stories that I know you got to tell, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hear them again in the next few days. Thank you again for your body of work in all of this area.